Welcome back! Part 3 of our signature talk training is here. Yay, you're doing it. Okay, so part 1, we showed you the offer. Part 2, we outlined the different steps of your teaching content, which is in the middle. Today, we're going to dive deeper into the teaching content. I'm actually going to teach you how to structure each of those steps that you outlined yesterday in your teaching content. Making sense? So you have your 5 steps. So now I'm going to tell you how to describe, how to teach each step. So first, with each of them, you're going to start with a story. It's going to be your own story or somebody else you know. So it can be your client or a totally different person. You should include at least 3 stories of your talk in your talk. So every teaching point should have a story. Now, the first step, you should include what's called your signature story. It's going to be a little bit longer, and you're going to it should be about you. You want to make sure that people get to know who you are and what your story of transformation is. Okay? So for the teaching steps and how to allocate the time, you're structuring this for about a 25-minute talk. Your first teaching step should take about 10 minutes. And your second and third should be 5 minutes and 5 minutes. And if you have 4 steps, then you're going to be 7 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes, or something like that. However the math adds up. Okay? So, how to tell a story, which is the first part. You want to start in the middle of a picture. Here's what people do that they're doing absolutely wrong. They tell a story in a sequence. It's like a bunch of background. It's like, so, blah, blah, blah. I was unemployed, and then I did this, and then I that, and then I got my certification, and then I that, And they keep going and going. It's like, what? That's really not interesting, right? And that's how we're used to telling stories, but that is not how to tell an engaging story. You want to paint a picture. What I mean by that is, it's like a picture, like a photo, a snapshot in time. It's like one point in time snapshot, and you paint what's in the picture. If you were there, like a fly sitting on the wall, looking at what's going on, what would you see? Am I making sense? No sequence, just pick, when you think of the story, think of a scene and describe it as an outsider. I mean, you're talking in first person, but think of it, what was going on, what were the feelings, what were the reactions, what's going on, right? That's how you tell a story. And usually, the scene is like a rock bottom, right? Or heading for the rock bottom. So then, after you tell the story, it should have a lesson in it. It's going to be obvious. The story has to tie to the teaching. So the second part is the teaching. That is where you explain the lesson or the theory or the rules or whatever it is. Third, you conclude with a gap. If your teaching point is 5 minutes, you cannot teach your audience everything in 5 minutes. Make sense? So you need to explain what else they need to know to succeed. Which is, by the way, leading into your offer, right? So if you're a business coach and you're teaching people X, Y, and Z, it's like then you tell them, okay, then you also have to learn this and that, and then you would learn that with me in such and such course. Make sense? So you give them enough to work with. You don't just manipulate them and give them nothing. You give them something they can take away and work with, but you also tell them there's more and here's what it is. Make sense? So here, I'm going to try to give an example how it works, but I have not practiced this. So I'm just going to blur it out at you. So here's an example of how it should go. All right, so I remember one of my first workshops I taught. I thought the content was very good. It was one of those 4-hour workshops. So I'm there totally engaging with the audience, right? Everybody's just like eating every word, and I'm writing like a mad person on the board, and they're writing, and everybody's like really in it, right? And people are engaging, and they're getting a lot. You know, I knew this, people are getting a little bit tired. But, you know, I was like, this is really good. They're getting so much. 3 hours into the workshop, we had a break. And then I saw people getting up and getting their coats. I'm like, oh my God, are they leaving? And sure enough, at least a third of the room left. It was like, it was so crushing. I'm standing there, I'm like, oh my gosh, people are leaving. I'm giving them so much. I mean, goodness, I wish somebody gave me this training, right? I wish somebody gave me this training for free. I mean, gee, you pay thousands of dollars for this. It's like not even grateful for this, right? And so people are just like, you know, like, oh my goodness. I just didn't get it. Didn't get it. After the workshop, you know, one of my good friends who was in there, she's like, you know, Eva, they were overwhelmed. You give them too much. They don't need that much. They're like, oh, I can't handle this. They were overwhelmed. It's really good content. It was too much. So I'm sharing this with you because I don't want you to have to learn this the hard way like I did, right? So you gotta trust yourself that enough is enough. Enough is enough. So there's a couple rules when you're structuring your mini workshop. Number one, focus on smaller wins and completion. Don't give them everything from every possible area, right? Smaller wins and completion. Number two, be very clear of what success and participation looks like. Even before you write it out, even if you design it, be really clear what they will take away. What's the one thing they will remember? And also, when you design your mini workshop, you know, one thing is to design it, one thing is to know how to promote it. So just know, you also have to know how to do a multi-week email launch campaign, how to keep people excited who have actually registered, because you know how it is. We register for something and then life gets in. And, you know, other things that go into promotion. But I want to move to the next part, which is blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I just made that up, but you get the idea, right? You saw the scene in it. I'm teaching and they're engaging and then they left, right? The teaching content, which is make it simple and focus on deliverables versus giving a bunch of random stuff around everything, and then there's a gap, right? Like you don't just need to know how to design a workshop, you also have to know how to promote it, and here's the specific things that you need to know. All right, so that is how you're going to structure it. You have your 5 steps that you designed yesterday. So for each of those steps, you're going to have your story, you have your teaching content, you're going to have your gap. So that's the writing for today. It should take you maybe about an hour, maybe less. It depends how fast of a typer you are and how much you already thought about these stories yesterday. But that's it for today. Now, a reminder, if you have not registered for the speaker day, you have to do it. I'm so excited about it. This is going to be so much fun. It's pretty affordable. It's not cheap, but it's pretty affordable way to get all day of coaching, all day of speaker training, and getting your speaker reel done, which costs hundreds of dollars just on its own, right? So we're going to have a camera crew on the side. We're going to record you, and we're going to get some testimonials so that you have some people saying, ooh, she's great, right? And as a bonus, I'm going to be giving you a template for your professionally designed and branded speaker sheet, and I'll teach you how to use it. It's one that I've used over and over. I booked, over 70 talks this week. I don't remember, this year, this year, can't remember, but it took me about a week or two to book it. So I have some practice in this. Speaker sheet is a must. It's something that you have to have. Also, another bonus, the camera crew will be taking pictures of you. Right? Might not be the most wonderful, beautiful pictures from your favorite photographer. However, you need a picture on stage, speaking, engaged with the audience for your speaker sheet. So I asked them if they could take pictures of you too, and they said I could do that, and they could also do it from the video because they have very high resolution pictures. So they'll be kind of pick and choose, okay, this looks good, so we can use this as a picture. All right, so early bird registration is still open. It's only a limited number of people. Obviously, we can't record everybody. So make sure you grab your seat now. Do it today before the seats are gone. The link is below. Go ahead and register. I can't wait to see you, by the way. This is one of those, I just love these workshops because we're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to see some transformation on stage. And you're gonna make friends because this is one of those, we get to pretty bond. Like they're one of the, it's nerve-wracking to be on stage in front of people, but this is the place to practice, right? You don't want your first time practicing your signature talk in front of audience you don't know. You wanna get some practice with us. So come join us. I can't wait to see you, and see you tomorrow. That's gonna be our part 4. And we're gonna be working on the beginning of your talk. And I'm going to teach you how to kick it off. So see you tomorrow.